Leo, so I see you as a tree, and I see you with a root that goes down really, really, really deep. It's like a solid single root. You don't have a lot of branchy outy things. You've got the single down root, kind of like a ginkgo biloba tree. But you also are holding your hands up like this, or your branches up like this. And it feels as though you're trying to stave off influence of other people, because even though you have a very strong identity, that strong root that I'm seeing, and you're very aware of your identity and who you believe yourself to be, it's almost as though you don't want too much disruption from around you, because you don't want to shake that image of yourself that you have. But the reality is you're meant to. Now, part of what you can do, my dears, is you can be extremely supportive, you can be extremely caring and loving. And at the same time, part of it is linked to you maintaining an image of yourself that you have. This is no shade. This is just part of what we do as humans. But I'm seeing it with you because, Leos, you have a very, very strong attachment to your personality, your ego, how it's seen. Some people see this as arrogance, and I see it more as a need to be stable, a need to look for some kind of security. And that security is in that sense of, I know who I am. I can take care of business. I can get stuff done. And I can get stuff done for people, even if they don't necessarily want me to get it done for them, but I will do it because that's going to be good for them. Well, now what's happening is you're being asked to look at your boundaries, okay? So very interestingly enough, Leo, I think this is a huge turning point for a lot of you, because your boundaries are shifting. Where you have overgiven, or where you have and I'm going to call it out, over-controlled. Now what's happening is you're finding yourself overextended, and you're finding yourself not sure of what those relationships are. And it's almost like you want to push them away a little bit, hold them at bay, so that you can kind of not be shaken too much in your identity. But the point is you're meant to be, because this is part of your growth. This is where you get to start understanding different boundaries based on a different identification of who you are. You're being asked to get to know yourself in a different way. And that's a wonderful thing, Leo, because you've got so much energy and you've got so much power. You're extremely intelligent people. You've got the ability to really use your brain, that you really have the ability to use that energy in a very different way. In some ways, it's reminding me a little bit of Cancer, because it's now that sense of you're getting to disidentify from the old roles. And now this is where you get to choose new roles. But I feel in some ways, Leo, as though you're still a little bit stuck in the old ones. Not so much stuck in the old ones as you are stuck in the structures that you've created around yourself based on the old identity. This is your chance to set free, to be able to change your boundaries within yourself, and therefore boundaries around other people, because sometimes we need to set boundaries around overgiving and over-controlling and overdoing, right? As much for ourselves as for our relationships with people, because then we get to have new relationships when we're not always in the driver's seat, when we don't always need to be the one that people run to when they have a problem. We get to experience the relationships differently, and we get to be nurtured by them in return, okay? And that's a big thing. Sometimes you guys have a really hard time with that. And it's time now for you to be able to do that, okay? I'm going to leave it there, Leo, because I think this is enough to chew on for you. It's a good time for you to be looking at your boundaries, and it's a really valuable time for you to be saying, okay, if I'm that worried about being shaken with external forces, what does that say about my security in being able to change my perception of myself? Am I so dedicated to that one root identity that I can't shift, that I can't grow, that I can't soften, that I can't let other people in a different way, and that I can't identify roles and boundaries in my life that I have engaged, that have disempowered me. You've got the power card, which is talking about power being something that you radiate from a deeper self, from a higher conscious self, from a true heart, as opposed to forcing it with your ego. And this, my dears, this is where you get to really expand and grow. And this is where you get, and it said, do it big, do it with compassion, do it with kindness. Those are all the energies. If you can apply them to yourself first, it'll be a lot easier for you to share it with other people. Because the thing with Leos, I love you. And sometimes it's difficult for you to set boundaries, and it's difficult when other people set boundaries with you too. Okay? So this is a growth phase, my loves. Very, very good one. Okay? Take care.